Hello, it's Courtland with more insights for your personal development and self-understanding. These are tools and techniques for you to build a resilient mindset, to have the type of mindset that is so strong that you're able to bounce back no matter what you're challenged with. Today, we explore the inevitable challenge of distractions and interruptions. You're highly successful people, you're men and women of influence, and inevitably, there will be things that look to pull you away from what you're purposefully or intentionally doing. Now, perhaps you've had that experience where you were in the flow and you were seeing momentum. You were rocking and rolling. And just as you were entering that zone, just as you were entering that place of flow, the phone rings or you're pulled to a different task. And by the time you returned to it, you lost your idea, you lost the inspiration, perhaps lost the motivation altogether. So what are some things that you can do to curtail the number of distractions that come in and perhaps limit them altogether? Well, when we look at the word distraction, the root word is the word traction. And the word traction means to pull in a direction, to pull you forward, to pull to some place. And so therefore, a distraction means to do away with that. So something is a distraction if it pulls you off purpose, if it pulls you away from the place or the direction in which you are headed. So we can say then that it cannot be considered a distraction if you were never purposeful in the first place. You cannot call it a distraction if there was no intent on where you were headed. See, a full 2/3 of people wake up every day with no idea what their day is going to look like. You can immediately put yourself in the elite category just by planning out your day. 2/3 of people wake up and they allow their day to happen to them versus being intentional about what they're going to do. And as a result of that, low priority things become the way that they move throughout the course of their day. So when we look at how to limit distractions and what can we do about the interruptions, remember three things. First and foremost, you must identify what you value. You've got to determine what is most important to you. Now, once you've determined what you value or decided on what you value, then you've got to prioritize them. So in that list of values, there will be things like work, taking care of self, your family. And so you will have those things that you value, but then also now it's necessary for you to prioritize what you value. Now, once you have what you value and you prioritize what you value, the last step is for you to schedule what you value. I see people all the time that speak about how important their family is to them or how important this community service project is to them. But yet they never have time to do it. And I'm like, well, how can it be important to you if there's never any time? Right? We know what you value by where you place your time. It's really easy to determine. I've had people in seminars and courses across the country and really around the world who speak to, well, I just don't have the time to be with family, to be with children and so forth and so on. And I said, well, that's interesting. Let's do an exercise. The exercise is you open up your calendar. And when you open up your calendar, we'll notice there are things that you've scheduled this appointment, you've scheduled this meeting, and you've scheduled this project to be completed by when. But then I could also look and notice that, well, okay, you have this time with your boss and this time with your employees and this time for that project. It's all scheduled. But I notice that there's not any block of time for your significant other. You don't have any planned time for your son or daughter. So how can you say that you value it if you never schedule it? We know what you value by what you schedule. Regardless of what you may say, the proof is in the schedule. So in order to limit distractions, it is very important to understand that if you don't schedule what you value, then you'll find yourself spending time on what is valuable to someone else. If you don't schedule what you value, you'll spend your time on what is valuable to someone else, which only leads to resentment and regret, so forth and so on. So remember, determine what's important to you or determine what you value. Then prioritize those things that you value. And then lastly, schedule what you value. By doing so, you'll limit distractions and you'll start to put a limit on the amount of interruptions that come in because people will know that you're on point and you're on purpose. If you'll do this, as we enter this new environment, this new normal where there's a lot of uncertainty, what we know for sure is that it will be competitive and you'll have to be adding value to the marketplace. And so in order for you to do that, you've got to know what you bring to the table, what you offer, but don't get so pulled in so many different directions because of how talented you are. You've got to value and schedule what you value so that those who come looking for your time and attention will have to get in line because those things that are important to you already have their place. If this is helpful to you, don't keep it a secret. Share it with other people. And if you haven't already, like the Courtland D. Warren page. And we'll see you next time with more insights and just my thoughts on ways to develop a resilient mindset, the type of mindset that takes on and handles any challenge. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your time and attention.